Welcome to For Collectors.
Hey, hello everyone. Hello, fellow collectors. I still don't have the For Collectors intro down, but it's For Collectors live. It's what's the expression? It's a channel of For Collectors for collectors.
Right.
My name's Dan. I have a channel called Dan's Vintage Baseball PC, and I am joined by three hobby luminaries to talk about the Philly show that just happened this weekend. Cardboard Coach Neil, who was not on the thumbnail, is coming in to pinch hit for Tony, who had to step out because of a family situation. Everything's okay, and he'll be fine, but he just had to take the night off and maybe a couple of days off, but Tony will be back. Sorry to miss him. He's always a great guest, but Neil, thank you for stepping in, and how are you?
Good. How you, Dan? It was great meeting you guys yesterday.
Yeah. I'll show that in a second, but Jake, I know you're tired. You drove about 100 hours this week. So.
I like it. Yeah.
So we hung out all day not all day Saturday, but much of the day on Saturday, and that was a lot of fun. And Ray, oh my God, Ray, you're the dean of like Philly card show stuff, but I know it didn't work out this weekend, and I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I mean, this was the 50th anniversary, so it was a big show. Since the Philly show started in 1975, so they made it a celebratory thing this weekend, being that it's the 50th anniversary. So that was pretty cool.
Well, it was also the first anniversary of the not the first anniversary, but the first incarnation of the YouTube get together at the Philly show, which was put together by you, Ray, thankfully, with Coach Neil, who
Neil
was able to make it. So,
thank you, Neil.
I almost didn't go in. I was like, I don't know how to handle these things. I did, and it was easy. So
Yeah, that's cool.
So we got Jacob Dahl is here, Peter B. Dog ate my card collector. Hey, this is one of the Philly show attendees of the there's Mike. I'm going to talk about Mike in a little bit. Good evening to Orlando and Steven and Craig. Peacemaker Cards. Hello, Sven. What a fine looking panel. Well, yeah, I mean, some of them are fine looking, not me. You know what I discovered from seeing myself in pictures? That I really need a haircut. Hello, Boston Kid and Grove fan and Robert Scott. So let's talk about I guess we'll start with you, Ray, since you, I guess, probably, I don't know, Neil, maybe you have more card show experience with the Philly show. But Ray, what's your origin story with the Philly show?
Well, the first time I went the Philly show started in 75. It was an annual show, just once a year. And I went to the 10th annual one here, and they would give out like a brochure with the list of all the dealers and so forth. This is the 10th annual one from 1981 that they would hand out for you.
Let me go down and give you a solo layout. There you go. Nice.
So as you can see, it's from 1981. It was held at the George Washington Motor Lodge in, I think it was Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. So I do have the one from the 1977 that my grandfather went to, and he gave me that pamphlet or brochure. And then this one I went 4 years later in 81, where he took me to that. And it's grown over the years. It's been a long time. It started with just local dealers and expanded to like the Mid-Atlantic region with dealers like Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, and now dealers from all over the country go there. So it's really grown exponentially over the past, especially I'd say over the past 15 years. So it's a classic show. It's got a lot of everything from vintage and modern, but mostly vintage. I'd say 70% vintage. So it's just an awesome show. I highly recommend
how many different locations do you know that it's been in? Because I've
Yeah.
been to only 2.
I know them all. That it started in 75 at Spring Garden College in Philadelphia, from 75 to, I want to say, 79. And then for 2 decades, it was at this place that I was just mentioning, the George Washington Motor Lodge in Willow Grove. That was there until the late 90s. Then it went to Fort Washington, PA at the Expo Center until 2007. Then in 2008, people forget this little time here. It was in Reading, Pennsylvania for 2 years, from 2008 to 2010. The guy who owns it now, Joe Drellick and David Hunt from Hunt's Auctions, they bought it from the original owner, Bob Schmier, in 2008. So in 2008, when it was Joe Drellick's first year, that first year in 2008, it was in Reading, and I didn't go to it in Reading. It was there for 2 years, from 2008 to 2010. Then in 2011, they moved to Valley Forge Casino in King of Prussia, which is probably one you were at recently. And now last year in 24, they moved to the current location in Oaks, PA at the Greater Delaware Valley Expo Center. So I think this is the 5th location.
Yeah. You didn't miss anything in Reading, Ray. It was it was awesome.
I chose not to go to one in Reading. I was like, I ain't driving to Reading, man. But
yeah, it was brutal drive, and it was bad.
Yeah, and
so I should mention
Valley Forge.
RJ says he went to the show regularly in Willow Grove, which is cool. RJ, I met for the first time this weekend. And so how are you, sir? Nice to see you. And I know he went to the event. We'll show a picture where he is in. We did get a question a little bit a short time ago about how do you compare this to Shriners, but we're going to get to that. We're not there yet. I do have an itinerary. So Coach, what's your backstory, origin story with the Philly show?
Similar to Ray. Now I think I went to the George Washington show once. But for me, my familiarity with the Philly show is starting with Fort Washington, which I like the Oaks. I like where they're at right now. I love Fort Washington. Fort Washington was just a great place. And I believe they transformed that into office space. So I think that's why they were forced to move. They didn't really know what was happening, which is why they went to Reading. And that was just bad. But I went to both. I went out to Reading, I think 2 or 3 times, and was very happy to see it move to the casino, which wasn't a bad spot. Oaks is much better, but the Fort, I used to call it the Fort, was the best showcase. I don't know if Ray would agree with that, but
I would absolutely. George Washington Motor Lodge was, the dealers. The dealers liked it for the floor, but it's funny. The dealers didn't stay there at the Motor Lodge because the rooms were horrible.
Yeah.
The rooms were really bad. They used to go up the street to the next motel, and they would say, we're dealers here for the Philly show, and the next motel up the street will let them stay for free because they knew how bad it was at the hotel rooms at the George Washington Motor Lodge. It was just, let's put it this way, the bugs were bigger than like the cats. I mean, there was just bad. But it's a true story. But the room was okay for the show. But yeah, I totally agree that the Fort Washington Expo Center was really, really good.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
All right. So I sent an itinerary. I should say that I sent the itinerary to Tony and Ray and Jake, but it's guys are asking questions that are in the itinerary. How does it compare with other shows? Talk about the YouTube get together. So we're going to get to all of that because 2 of our 4 people here were at the YouTube get together, and we do have a nice picture. But I did want to ask you, Jake, this is your first Philly show, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
You are tired, aren't you?
I am. A lot of time in the car. I was about 6+ hours in the car today. So to get back home.
Wow.
Yeah,
I was in the car a lot too. I drove down yesterday, drove from Philly show to Atlantic City last night. Not last night, but yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
And then drove back from Atlantic City. This afternoon. So how do you compare this show now, the way it is, Coach, with like as it's evolved? And I can talk to this from 2021 on to now, but how does it compare, like, over the last, let's say, 20 to 25 years that you've been going?
I think it's Joe has taken it in a much better direction. Ray had mentioned Bob Schmier, and who older gentleman, very I guess the best word to say, very kind of like stringent rules and this and that. And yep. I remember, so I actually set up at a Philly show one time, and there was a guy that canceled, and Bob called, and you got to get this tax license and all. I didn't know anything about this. I brought my personal collection up. I just wanted to kind of go up there, and there was a snowstorm Sunday, and it was just coming down. And Bob was going around to every dealer. You cannot leave. If you leave, you're gonna lose your spot. I mean, he was just, Joe has done a great job with it. I think the Oaks, it started in, Ray, what is it, like A and B and C, and then it started just one of those just one of those rooms.
Yeah.
And it expanded like tremendous in the past 2-3 years.
Yeah.
It's go ahead.
I was going to say the first one. I've been at every Oaks one. The first one was in B alone, and it was crowded, and it was too crowded.
Yeah.
And I was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday that weekend. Then it moved to A, which is a bigger hall, and then it broke in from A to B, and it was B, a little bit of B, a little bit more of B. This weekend, it was the whole B. So we got A and B completely filled, which to me seems like bigger than it's ever been, right?
Oh yeah, and I think there's room to grow. I mean, the back part, there's still some stuff, and if you want to set up there, I think they'll find you a spot.
There is a sort of side room connected to A where they used to do the autographs, like in previous years, and now that was not used by the card show at all. And it was a Jake and I both know this because both of our wives went to it. It was a women's clothing pop-up store on
like
Saturday.
A consignment, like pop-up store for women's clothing.
Helped save my marriage, so that was helpful.
My wife was happy too. But she likes going to card shows with me, so it's different. But.
Yeah, I can say this. There are a lot of great wives in the hobby, patient women, but Abby is one of the few that actually goes to the shows, and whether she's acting or not, she seems to be excited at your pickups. So that to me is
excited, absolutely
a revelation.
And sometimes she has things that she likes to buy too. She didn't have anything in this particular show, but there was stuff she bought at the National. But
and we had the privilege to meet her yesterday. She stopped down to the meet and greet.
Yes.
Yep. Yes. So Ray, what do you think? You've been going to the show for 30 years, more than that, right?
44.
44 years. So it's bigger now than it's ever been, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And Neil said, it's got room to grow. I mean, the Oaks Greater Delaware Valley Expo Center is humongous. So they could probably add another room or two at the Expo Center. So, I mean, the first time I ever saw when they had it there temporarily for one show, when Valley Forge had a flood, probably about 3-4 years ago, and at the last minute they used the Oaks Expo Center, but they only had to use the small room because it was, last minute. So when I went to there, it was like half the amount of dealers. It might have been maybe 130 dealers, if that. And when I heard that Valley Forge was moving there to that place, I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. I went there once. It was awful. But that was because they had the flood in Valley Forge, and at the last minute they were using the Oaks Expo Center. So they didn't have access to, since it was last minute. But I've been to the new one twice. I went the last one in March and the one last year. And it's, I mean, I'm telling you, it rivals to any other show out there as far as the size goes now.
Yeah.
without doubt.
Yeah.
So, Mookie wants to know if your first show was the year Washington crossed the Delaware.
No, but I think Lincoln might have did the Gettysburg Address, so I was pretty close. But
So I did at 11:30. I did a cameo for about 15 minutes on Hobby Hotline, talking about the show. I was literally on the show floor, and I guess the angle of the camera and how bad my hair looked, I kind of looked like Ben Franklin. So Mike Petty was saying I should dress up as Ben Franklin for Halloween. So hey, we'll see. So what we 15 minutes in, we haven't shown any cards yet. I think they're getting a little cranky in the chat about seeing some cards. Some people have made reference, Jake, to cards that you picked up this weekend. I think you win the most valuable player award for card pickup. So let's see some of the monsters that we got.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say, like, before I get into it, like, I got more individual cards yesterday and today than I did in 3 days at the National. But that, I mean, I was a little bit more focused on bigger pickups, but I was able to knock a lot of stuff off that was important to me for stuff that I try to collect. So everyone keeps saying this. So Dan, so put me on the spotlight here. If folks have watched my video, they've already seen this, but this was the big pickup.
Very nice.
My
Yep.
Allen and Ginter, N28, John Clarkson, Hall of Fame, Boston Bean Eaters pitcher, in a 1.5. I bought this from Tom Botticelli. Wonderful guy. And so this was the big pickup. And then there was a different one there was another card that I got in the same deal with him, which was this. I'll just show this one. It's the standard caramel E93, I think, Fred Clark.
nice.
Same image as his T206. I used to have his T206. I got rid of it because I didn't know that it was this specific card. I just wanted to get a different Fred Clark card for my PC. So this I just love the blue image there. So anyway, those were that was one
awesome.
deal. Do you want me to keep going? Like I got a ton of stuff.
No.
I got one for for Dan that
I was going to ask Neil to pull out some cards, but keep going.
Let me just compare to this. So
let me just show two more. This one. Well, I'll show two more for now. This was another deal. This was I got a W517 Harry Heilman. Paid a great price for this. I didn't have any playing days Harry Heilman cards. Multi-time batting champion in the American League.
Is that a Bill Chappell?
These are just playing. This was not. I don't know the name of the dealer that I got this from. I'll show the cards I got from Chappell later. But the other card that I got in the deal was this one, and I didn't even know this card existed. This is Harry Aganis. This is from the 1956 Adventure set.
Wow,
I never knew it existed either. Wow,
so it's mostly apparently I did a little bit of research. It's mostly a non-sport set that came out in 56. There's a few sports cards in it, and one of the only ones is this sort of in memoriam memory card of Harry Aganis, who obviously Dan knows super well. Well, he knows his story super well. Dan didn't go to BU back then, but he Dan did go to BU. But Harry, if people don't know, Harry Aganis was a multi-sport star in Boston at BU, quarterback, and then played for the Red Sox for a year or two. Was a superstar and died very tragically, very young, very suddenly. And he only has, I think, one regular Topps card, and it's in 55.
One.
Yeah.
And then
55.
and so I was just going through the bin, whatever the guy's bin was. It had this Heilman card, and it had this, and I'm like, I've literally never seen this in my life. And so I picked it up, and I did a little research. Like I said, it's Gum Inc. And the name of it's the 56 Adventure. So
Gum Inc. and Mookie's got a good line here for you.
Yeah.
Gum Inc. is the company that did Play Ball.
Yeah, and so they stuck around, I guess. Or Gum Products Inc. It might be. I think it's actually a different company now that I think of it. Gum Products Inc. There was two different. It was Gum, but you're right about Gum Inc. That did the play balls. But anyway, so I got more, but I'll cede the floor for now.
Great pickups.
Well, if anybody gets a chance to watch my video, I got 3 cards at this show, 2 of which were 1970 autographs, tough Spanish players from the Pirates who came in one collection that what's his name? Phil Marks, the autograph dealer. You guys probably know him because he's Philly based. In fact, I think it was his table where
it was
right in front of his table where what? That's not the one I wanted. What the heck? There it is.
Go on.
This
There he
picture
is.
is taken right next to. In fact, there's Phil Marks right over right over Neil's shoulder there.
Yeah.
He's an autograph dealer. I think he used to work for PSA and SGC, and he will tell you his story if you ask. But I've been getting a lot of 70 from him, and I had heard about this Pittsburgh collection that he picked up, and the guy was a journalist who had access to the field, so he got cards from guys, and these are probably from old timers days. I got one other card I'll show later on, but Neil, why don't you show us some of the stuff that you were able to pick up?
Yeah, I mean, mine's going to be pretty quick. So, I went in looking, not really looking for anything in particular. I didn't want to spend a lot of money. I picked up just a stack of Kellogg's cards and a Pete Rose item I'll show in a second. But just Rod. I mean, these are all like real nice. I'm starting to get into just small, inexpensive stuff. Try to re-budget from some of the purchases I made already this year, and also saving for Strongsville for next year. So just
right.
80 Rod Carew.
Wait. Let me give you solo here. Hang on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Still got I got just a bundle deal. Rod Carew. I got these are from 80 McCovey, and then 79 Carlton. Yeah, that's Carlton. Another Carew. This is from 80. So two different Carews. 1980 Carlton, 76 Lou Brock. I did put in a custom Mag Pro the other Pete Rose card. These things are great, by the way. I'm not plugging them, but Mangini and others have these. J Average Vintage Collector I know has some, but I highly recommend these Mag Pros. They're just kind of cool. Save yourself on the grading fee and just put them in that. But I was looking for something kind of weird, oddball, if you will, and I came across this, and I got this from the same.
Nice.
I got this from Durwood, Jake.
Nice.
So a nice. I was looking for something Pete Rose, and this just kind of jumped out to me. It's a full box. Kind of like these big, bulky ticket slabs. But I like this kind of stuff. I'm getting back into the Pete Rose type of collecting that I kind of put to the wayside for about 5-10 years. So I'm going to re-add to that. But that's really, nothing else. And this came in the mail. I showed this last night. It was just in my stack. It's just so I'll show it again. It's just my first 67 Venezuela.
Nice.
Oh, is that Bunny?
Yeah, it's Bunny. It's a one put. I mean,
Very nice.
Yeah.
Adding to the type stuff, but I didn't want to spend a lot of money, and I didn't. So which was good, because if I do go to Strongsville or the National, you want to have some money, like a couple $1,000 with you, so just in case. So
yeah, the Milk Dud Rose is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. There was a lot of good stuff out there.
Sorry.
Yep.
That is a fantastic card. I know I was at Shriners last year when Dom Staven Sports got one of those. I think it was Gibson. I just like the way they look in the slab's a little big, but hey, what the heck?
Yeah.
That's how big it is. So we all met up with YouTube people, and we'll talk about the YouTube get together in a little bit. But I had the great fortune of having a tap on the shoulder from a Mike Good, who is in the chat. Hi, Mike. How are you? And he gave me some gifts, and I got a little emotional on my video that I posted like an hour ago. So, he gave me. Let me give myself a little. Can I give myself a solo? Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Gave me this.
Nice.
And if you know anything about my collection, Bobby Mercer was my childhood hero, and I collect every Mercer card I could possibly get, regardless of whether I have it or not. And so I've got like 8 1970 Mercers, but I do not have this. I do now. I didn't have this.
Nice.
This is a 1973 Sports Illustrated with Mercer, and Ron Bloomberg is the other guy over there who made history in '73 by being the first ever DH. And so this really kind of made my experience, because it was like one of those things where it hit at the perfect time, perfect thing for my collection. And at a time when I'm kind of like had a little doldrums in the hobby, this one really, really kicked me up. And so, Mike, if you're in the chat, thank you so much for that. And that's the kind of meaningful stuff that made my week and made my
That's
weekend.
awesome.
So
Bobby
thanks.
Mercer was huge, man. He was coming in after the Mick.
Yeah,
he was taking his
a
place.
top player in the game for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So I did get one other big card, and then we'll switch over back to you, Jake. You got some more, right? I know you have at least one other pre-war.
Well, because Neil mentioned the dealer name, I'm going to switch ahead to the very last thing that I bought, and then I'll today, and I'll switch back. And you mentioned Durward Hamill is his name. He also sets up at Shriners and I guess a few other shows. Super nice guy. Later in the day, Saturday, I had walked around and I had noticed that there was a guy at that had a bunch of 52 Wheaties, the hand cut cards, and I had previously owned one of the Ted Williams cards from that set, but he had both of them. So I went over and I'll just show I did end up buying both of them. But this was not the only thing. Yeah, this was not the only thing I bought from Durward, because these are just blank on the back. But I'm pretty happy. I like both of these a lot. I had owned this one before, but I've never owned the portrait before. So
what year are these?
These are 52.
52. Okay.
Yeah. So he had something else, and it wasn't on my radar at all. But he had just picked these up, and we made a deal, and I ended up getting all of these. These are the 75 Red Sox photo pack. So you got, it's going to maybe be hard to see all of it with the light, but there's Yaz. There's Jim Rice. These are just absolutely gorgeous. Carlton Fisk hit a pretty well-known home run that year. Freddie Lynn, MVP, Rookie of the Year that year, first time ever in history. Rick Burleson, the Rooster. Rico Petrocelli, big-time friend of the hobby. There's Dwight Evans, should be in the Hall of Fame. And Denny Doyle, who most famously was eventually traded for Jerry Remy. But yeah, so I was thrilled to get these, and these are going to be part of a project that's coming up on the channel soon too. So
nice.
So absolutely,
Denny Doyle broke in with the Phillies.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Shares a rookie card with Larry Boa.
Larry Boa, 70 tops.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. And I'll show one last thing just from this, and it's because it's semi-related. Is I did pick up the 67 Dexter Press Yaz. Nice. I got this for $15. This was in the back of a a bin with a bunch of other stuff. I just searched through the bin trying to find some random stuff. You never know. That's why you got to search, right? That's why you got to find stuff. You never know what you're going to find. And this is something that I needed for my Yaz PC. So that was related to that other thing. So I just wanted to show that. But
nice.
There's more. I can show more too. But that's.
Yeah.
I had a good show, as you can see, and I'm starting to get the juices are starting to flow again here. The synapses are firing.
Those kind of pickups will do it for you. Yeah. What was the dealer's name again?
For the picture pack and the Wheaties, his name was Durward Hamill, Hamil.
Yeah. And where was he set up at the show? If I can
kind of like if you're like where Brian was set up, like maybe a few rows in front of him, like kind of like back, like if you walk in the front door, you go right. Kind of just not all the way back, but kind of, and then like a little closer to the middle.
I know the guy you're talking to. You can't see it up here, but I have a little cap, a little Seattle Pilots cap that I'm pretty sure I bought from him a couple of Philly
That's
shows
cool.
ago. I know exactly where he is. And he's a nice gentleman too, because we
Real
were
nice
chatting.
guy. Real nice guy.
Yeah, cool. So I did get a card, a biggie. I'd never seen it before. The dealer's name is Brian Deck. Brian Deck, right?
Mhm.
DEC.
DEC.
And he's the first table when you walk in.
Oh.
And I purchased from him before in Philly, the one of the cash-in, the Lefty Grove cash-in, and he gave me a nice deal. That was a couple of years ago, not recent, like a couple of years ago. And I did buy from him Strongsville too. He sets up at Strongsville. And I walked by his table, and I hadn't really spent that much time because I wanted to get into the show rather than stop at the first table. So this time, as my new, my second go round, I got to him and I said, "Oh, I know this is where I get the Grove. Let me look." So I see this thing, and I don't know what it is until I get up close.
Nice.
Let me see if I can get the where is it? There we go. It is a 1905 rotograph postcard of the 1904 New York Giants.
Wow.
Now, the thing about this is that it was affordable to me because the 1904 Giants Mathewson did win 33 games, I think, that year, but he's not on the postcard. And I'm not sure why. But he has, these are all Horner photos. That's McGraw in the middle. And I wanted to make sure Donlin was in it. Donlin is right there before I bought it. And he worked with me on the price. And then I said, I think this is a pop like under 10. It ends up it's a pop 14. And the highest grade is a 4, and this is a 3, so it's the second highest graded. And I think I got a decent price because I checked what the 2 went for like a couple of years ago. So this was good. Iron Joe McGinty is in this one. Bill Dolan, Roger Bresnahan, and a couple of others. I'm going to do some research on it and get like the names of all the people on this so that I can speak intelligently about it rather than just kind of guessing about it. But I figured this was one of those things that I'm never going to see this again. It was in an REA auction a couple years ago, and then the last time before that, there was a copy in the I think it might have been Heritage in like 2017 or something. So it doesn't come up very often,
right?
So I figured I would grab that now instead of waiting. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
Real quick, let me say something because I just saw Orlando post. Brian Deck runs, I think he runs a decent sized card show in Florida. I think it's a couple times a year. I think it's in Sarasota. So Orlando may have heard of it. But I know I talked to him about, I go down to Florida a lot. I love it down there. And I'm going to try to, I think the next one's over Thanksgiving weekend, but then there's another one in February. So he said it's like 70 tables of vintage. So
that's awesome.
That's all you Florida YouTubers out there. Just check it out.
Well, I just got an email.
That's a great pickup. That's what's cool about the vintage show at the Philly show, because you'll see a lot of rare things like that that you don't see at a lot of other shows, for sure. I mean, it's just good pickup.
Yeah, I have this, which I picked up from an auction house a couple of years ago. It's a Polo Grounds with McGraw in it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what the year is, but it's one of those ones that I felt such a beautiful postcard, so I wanted to pick it up. What you got more, Jake?
I do.
Blow our minds again.
I could. Well, if we're talking about postcards, I'll share. I picked up these are like super. These were super cheap. I got 4 of these for $10 total, and they're just a sort of ball yard scenes from like turn of the century around different areas of Massachusetts. Like that is Oak Bluffs.
That's cool.
Oak Bluffs, that's Martha's Vineyard. This is like, again, some of these are postmarked and do have like writing and stuff on the back. I'm gonna have to do some deciphering.
Oh, I love that.
That's Falmouth, I believe. This one that's on the Cape.
Nice. Yep.
Beautiful. This is Provincetown. It's like there's a track and there's there's like, I think there's baseball going on there. And then this one I got to do. Ryan McClanahan, shout out to him. He had some thoughts about maybe that this actually might be in Cleveland or Ohio somewhere, but it says Brookside Park the baseball field, 2 words, but it's postmarked from Orange, Mass, which is out in Western Mass. But I just thought these were wicked cool, and I just like they're so cheap. I'll pick them up.
Yeah, those are great.
I can show the stuff. This is the stuff I got from Chapel.
Let's see some Chapel.
So sometimes like if a dealer they have like 2 showcases set up, and like one in front of the other, and the cards that are in the front of the one that's in the back, you got to beckon and look over the front one to be able to see. You don't want to miss it. Well, I bet that this is a card I've been looking for a little while just to find the right one that I wanted. I bet that Bill Chappell probably had this at the National, but I just didn't see it. And it's this. It's a 41 double play of Lefty Grove and Bobby Dorr.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I had seen some of these graded at the National that were it was just more than I wanted to pay, and I thought that Bill had this for a very fair price. As obviously it's blank on the back, but this is and then in the same deal I got this 51 this is a 52 Burke Ross Dom DiMaggio.
Yeah, it's 52.
Yeah, so was happy with that. And then today I'm gonna skip around. There's two last lots, I guess. Today, the other lot besides the one that I showed before with the Williams and the photo pack, where I bought 2 Diamond Stars Hall of Famers. I'm working on that run. I got an Al Simmons in an SGC 2.5. It's a little off center, but it's relatively clean. It's so hard to find Diamond Stars clean. And then I got another White Sox, Ted Lyons in raw, that one. And then the last card, the one that Dan was kind of referencing before, this was actually the first card I bought yesterday, is I finally got a Mayo's Cut Plug 1895 N300, and this is Tommy McCarthy, who is another Boston Hall of Famer.
Nice.
And these usually have black backs, but this one was skinned. I think it must have been however they removed it from whatever book it was in. They just ended up taking the whole back of it off, so that's why it's authentic altered. But he was outfield alongside Hugh Duffy, and they both ended up in the Hall of Fame. And I still want to get the Duffy, but anyway, that's it. That's everything I got in just over 2 days. So thank you. It was like I said, I felt like it was more of a productive. The reason why I feel like it was more productive for me than the National is that it's not as big. Like, your attention gets pulled in so many directions at the National. And it's like, you kind of just have to, you got to, pick what you can get and then move along because people are crowding you or moving. You got to move out of the way, whatever. And I felt like here there were like the best dealers for the most part from the National were there. And I could really kind of focus on what I wanted. And the prices I felt like I paid reasonable prices. A lot of these were packaged things. I packaged a few together here and there. So I was able to get good deals on just about everything. And I had a mind-blowingly great experience at this show. And I will absolutely be back, even though it was 13-ish hours in the car.
Wow.
In total. It was worth it. 100% worth it.
Well, my first Philly show was in, I think, March of 2021. Whatever the first one was back from COVID.
March.
And I wasn't even on YouTube at that point. In fact, I didn't get on YouTube till 23. So it was a lot of Philly shows before I got to YouTube. But I had shows like that where I would just go insane and bring home and spread it all out on the bed and take a giant picture and put it on Twitter. So like I had some of those, and so I can speak to that feeling, and I really feel good for you because that's a great feeling when you just nailed it and you had a score of stuff that was, some of it was very expensive and some of it was very not expensive, but they were all pretty cool items. So good eye and good get. So congrats on that.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
So, I did want to one other thing before we get to the YouTube get together, which I definitely want to talk about at length because I think this is something that we're gonna keep doing. I hope. Somebody had asked if yes, I missed the get together. We'll get to that in a second. But somebody had asked early on, and this was actually in my itinerary, how does this show compare with other shows on the East Coast? And I guess, Jake, you're probably the person to pick this up when it comes to Shriners, which is what the person was asking.
Well, so very different shows. I mean, I think Philly, I mean, just if my impression is that Philly show, it's a better layout. There's probably, I would say there's maybe a few more dealers, but it's all, so Shriners is in an auditorium, and it's pretty much all in one room. There's a few dealers in the hallways in the front, but it's a big auditorium space, but they max out the space in there. And I felt like Philly show, even though yesterday was really busy, like especially midday afternoon, I didn't have any problems getting around. I didn't have to like duck around people or anything like that. It was just, it's a very well run show, 100%. I give them a lot of credit on that. I think that as far as the quality of the dealers go, it's a lot of the same dealers. There's some, but it's like everything else. There's some guys that that won't make the trip all the way up to Shriners as far as dealers go, but the big ones do. You know, Ash is at Shriners, so is Stan Locke and Howard Chasser and a few other people. Bill Chappell does not go to Shriners, but it's the same thing that there are guys, you know, we've talked about this, Dan, there's guys up in Maine that are like big time vintage dealers that they only do one show, and it's Shriners. And they have there's a guy, Don Hantz, who has the best vintage inventory. I would stack him up against Ash. I'd stack him up against anybody in terms of high end stuff, like the high end, like the very high end stuff. But I would say that Shriners, you know, there's a point in the favor of Shriners, which is that it's 10 minutes from my house as opposed to Philly show. But I love Shriners. It's a great show. It's great vintage. And I'm really talking about the fall show. The summer show, the spring show has changed hands, and it needs, you know, it's all considered a little bit less of a strong vintage show than what the fall Shriners is. So really looking forward to it in a few weeks. But I would say I think it was RJ mentioned that I think Philly show, there is a little bit of a challenge in terms of like places to take a load off. Like as far as I know, like it was just that spot along the side of the hall B where the food is there, where there was seating area. There's not a lot of that. Like there's like a little VIP lounge area, and there's like a kids area. That was kind of it. I would say that's actually one advantage that Shriners has, where there's this like ante room that's right next to the main hall, where there's the big, huge round tables. There's like 15 or 20 of them. And remember, Dan, last year, like you know, you guys, a bunch of us were kind of camped out at one of those tables, and there's food, and you can get drinks and stuff there too. I would actually, and I think there's even other areas in the front that you could sit too. I think that's one thing that I would say that Shriners had a little bit of an advantage, is that there's more of an opportunity to kind of just like take a load off. I know obviously me and Abby kind of camped out at one of those tables for a while yesterday. It was, people were kind of like switching out and moving around and stuff. But that's one thing I would say that maybe Philly show could work on a little bit, is giving people more of an opportunity to have an area to take a load off, especially as it seems like the show is continued to get bigger. They probably need that more. But yeah, I would say that Philly show, just more comprehensive in terms of like just dealers and inventory and things like that, and a better layout. But there were some advantages that Shriners has, but no Wawa like
So, Ray, have you been to Chantilly?
No, but I've been to White Plains.
But Neil, you've been to Chantilly, right?
I have not. I was at White Plains once.
Okay.
Yep.
Because Mike Good was saying he's been to Chantilly. I know I think he's a Maryland person, and I have been to Chantilly once. Philly is better. It's bigger. It's run by, I think, the same people.
It is.
Yep.
Philly is bigger. White Plains, Mookie said in the comments that Philly is better than White Plains. I totally agree with that. White Plains does not have as much vintage, and it's a lot of the same dealers. Chapel does not go to White Plains, but you have more modern there, and it's a different vibe. Philly has a much more sort of hobby card collector vibe, whereas White Plains is a little different, and I know, Jake, you've been to White Plains now, I think twice.
Yeah. And I mean, the my first White Plains experience was the one earlier this year in January when the snowstorm was happening on Sunday. I went on Saturday, and it was an absolute madhouse. You couldn't walk in any of the aisles, and that led to Dan doing his famous video that led to a follow-up video with the organizer later to clear the air about it. But it was But the next one that I went to in March was much better in terms of it was easier to get around.
Yeah,
but I agree with what you're saying. It's less of a vintage kind of hangout in terms of the way
that's
and
not,
the way Shriners is too.
That's not on the promoters because, like you said, they did improve significantly. All the issues we had in January by March were done. The last couple I've gone to perfectly fine. It's just the vibe. It's New York. It has a different vibe to it. And there's a lot of kids up in Westchester. It's a veteran community, so you get a lot of kids with the the Zion cases and modern and Pokemon and all that stuff. So at this point, I think the Philly show is the best show on the East Coast. Is it the best show other than the National? I think it's similar to Strongsville, except it's bigger than Strongsville. Strongsville is more of a community feel to it. Philly is a bigger show, so it's the other thing about Strongsville is that it's a bigger YouTube get together, and I think that sort of vibes us into the next thing I want to cover, which is Neil and Ray got together and did, I think, something that hopefully will grow and grow and grow. But it's a great idea, and I'm really happy that you guys did it, and that is the YouTube get together. So Ray, tell us about how this kind of came together between you and Coach.
Well, I started getting the idea when you mentioned Strongsville, and I saw Chris from Missouri putting the Strongsville YouTube meet and greet together. And several months ago, I was thinking, I want to do something for Philly because I would like to see more people start coming to the Philly show, and I think Philly deserved, especially since it's the oldest show in the country. And then I met Neil at in Delaware, because Delaware has a show once a month, the last Sunday of every month, and Neil was a dealer there, so we had started talking about the same idea. And I said, well, if you want to help and we'll do this together, I think it'd be a great idea. Wasn't really sure if we were going to start doing it for the September show. Originally, I thought we would start in December, but we said, hey, you know what, the heck with it. Let's start with, in September. So we started promoting it maybe 3 weeks before the Philly show in September, so like the end of August, beginning of September, we started promoting it. So I'm hoping that, and unfortunately I couldn't make it yesterday. Thank God Neil saved my butt. And I would hope that this continues to grow like this. I would like to see this be like the national meet and greet and the Strongsville meet and greet. That's the whole agenda for Neil and I to do. So hopefully the next show in December, and there's a cool picture. So not bad for a first turnout. And hopefully next time it gets. That's exactly. We didn't know what to expect because, we didn't expect 20 or 30, but I said, if 10 show up, that's for a first time, that's great. And then word starts to get out, and then maybe next time we get 20 and so forth and so on. So
you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And it was fun.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
So I was like, I had plans this weekend elsewhere, and I agreed to those plans. You negotiate with your wife. I agreed with those plans as long as I had a window where I could go to the Philly show, but that window ended at 3:00. Yeah. So when I found out that, and those plans date back to probably in like July or something. When I found out that this was 5:30 on Saturday, it was kind of a bummer. So, it was a bad timing for me. But I will 100% be there in December, and promote it on my channel on four collectors, or wherever we can, because I think this would be a great idea, because there are a lot of guys, and I know Sammy and Mookie Chilson couldn't make it down to Sunday for whatever scheduling reasons of theirs. They couldn't make it to the show until Sunday. So, hopefully they'll be there. I'm actually planning on staying over next year because I usually drive in and drive out. I've stayed over a few times, but the hotel that you guys had it at, I've stayed at once, and I'll stay there again in December. Yeah. And let's do this again. And so,
absolutely.
Why don't we tell who do we have here? I know Neil, obviously. I know Vintage Composer. I don't know what's his name. What's his first name?
Well, the guy waving in the front, that is Mike right. Smith October. And then I guess behind him you got Jake, and all the way in the back that's High Pop. And then to his right, that's Andy. And then we got Mike, the Vintage Composer, in front of him. Next to me, of course, we got Keith. We all know him. And then RJ collects. And the last gentleman, he was, I think, Andy's chauffeur. He was his buddy. He just was just there. I don't think he has a channel. Nice guy. I don't think he watches too much YouTube, but I could be wrong. And maybe I know Andy's has commented, so he might fill us in. But it was good. It was everyone was showing their pickups and introducing each other. We got some cards. I know both Mikes gave out some items in High Pop. Professor gave out some cool refractors from the 90s. I mean, just handing them out. There you go. And it was fun. There was also Ray, you missed it. It was a St. Luke's Hospital Steve Carlton card. Maybe Jake.
Oh my God, really?
And RJ was
got it right here.
Hang on, let me give you. Let's see this up close.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Kind of like a 75 feel to it, right?
Yep.
Looks like he's throwing a four-seamer there. That's not his slider.
That's not his slider.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this was really cool. I appreciate this.
In the 1975.
He also showed.
Let me go back.
RJ, Jake, I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but there was a set that the Philly show or someone from the Philly show, I think, produced back in 1975. Yes. Yeah, it was, and he had it. And it was incredible. And I'm going to be looking on eBay to find one. So
I discussed this with somebody. Was it you, Neil, that we talked about this? It was at the National. No, I'm sorry. It was at Strongsville. Stephen with a PH was there, and he got the Jackie, and he bought a bunch of other cards from that set. It was produced in 1976. Yeah, it's called the Phantom set. It's called the 1947 Bowman. So it looks like 48 Bowman, and it's got a lot of players that weren't in 48 Bowman. I bought from Stephen at the trade night, the Four Collectors trade night at Strongsville, the Gil Hodges and the Pee Wee Reese. And the Pee Wee Reese is a fantastic looking card. And I graded them both because PSA and SGC grade them. And they got high grades, and they're both pop ones with the highest, whatever. But that doesn't matter. The reality is they're beautiful cards, and I'm really happy to have them in tuxes. But that was produced in 76. And there were apparently 200 complete sets produced. So there's only 200 of each of those cards. And who knows how many of them survived. So, that's the story there. I wish they had done something this time around, but I don't know. I guess the hobby's a little different now. This is a good question. Did anybody see Daniel at the show? Daniel from Classy Sports Cards texted me while I was still driving on the Jersey Turnpike, and he was going to be there. I did not run into him. He texted me later on to say, "I'm sorry, we missed each other," and so we did not see him. I hope he can make it next in December to the get together. I know Tony TJ's online was not feeling well, and he's in his family. Someone in his family's not feeling well, and it's not like serious or anything, but he couldn't make it to either the show or tonight. So I hopefully he'll be there next time. Mookie and Sammy hopefully can come in on Saturday instead of Sunday next time. So we can get 20 to 30 people there the next one. I think we can get a little momentum going on the
Absolutely,
Philly
that'd be
show.
great.
Yeah. So just
Definitely.
one more peek at the Hobby Heroes, the first ones, because we're going to be saying it. I'll probably say it 10 years from now. I was at the first one, but no, I wasn't.
Not me, but
There in spirit. You were well missed. I know that.
Okay, so the final thing on the itinerary is any stories or any hobby things that we should know about from the get together, or was it just dudes having some beers and showing some cards?
Yeah, pretty much just that. Everyone. I believe they're all Philly show regulars, and I think a couple people talked about. It seems Friday night is the bigger night for a lot of Philadelphia area collectors when it comes to the show. We can attest to that. And I know, like I normally attend every Philly show, and I would say 75% of the time it's a Friday night. I mean, I'll take off, early in the afternoon from work and just drive, and you kind of get in there, but it was fun on Saturday as well. I think the Philly show, with what I want to do, like a lot of card shows, is spend a lot more than a few hours there, because like Jake had said, there's so many booths that you just dig and dig and dig, you're going to find some stuff.
Right. And me and Neil were talking about that a few days ago, that people that we were asking to, letting them know that it was Saturday. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, I'm going Friday."
Yeah.
So I think before the December show, we might do kind of a poll and see where the majority of people are going to be going, Friday or Saturday, and then that's what we'll gravitate to and do that night instead. Because we try and get more people there. So maybe we'll have a cutoff of 2 weeks or 1 week before the show gets here, and have a tally and say, okay, because this was a learning experience, this show. We really were just going in like rookies, not knowing how to do this or do that. But now I think do a pre-poll thing starting a month before, and just have people vote and see, I'll be there Friday, I'll be there Saturday, and then end it a week before, and then come out with the final day. All right, it's going to be such and such, because that majority of people said they're going to be there on that such a time. So we're live and learn, we're rookies still.
Absolutely. The Friday, I've been to Friday once. It requires me to leave early to get out of New York before the traffic, and before the Friday night, everybody leaving town. So Friday's a little harder for me, but the out of towners might have a little issue with that.
Right.
Like Neil was saying, the local people do go in Friday, and the Friday my Friday experience there was good card wise. I mean, I went into the show and got a little more room and stuff. I think that was the one that was originally in the B, the B part of the pavilion. The room that they now take over as a second room was the whole show. I think it was that one that I went to on the Friday, because it wasn't that crowded on Friday, but it was very crowded on Saturday, because obviously the room was too small for them. So Mookie says multiple dealers told me Friday was their best day. Okay. Should say there was Greg will be there next time. He's going to take the Midlife Jet, the private jet the Midlife Nation
chauffeur will take him to the airport,
and then the chauffeur from the airport, and his assistant will talk to us. We'll be able to relay messages through his assistant at the get together.
Yes, he doesn't through an intermediary. He doesn't talk to us directly.
Now that joke completely lost my train of thought. I don't even. Paul Borges, by the way, I did speak to him quite a bit. He took pictures with me, with Jake, with Sammy. So Paul is a big hobby, big hit friend of the hobby. I did speak to Howie Chasser for a little bit. I spoke to Leighton Sheldon was there. Obviously, he's there every time. Chappell was friendly. Garrett Wells was not set up necessarily with Chappell, but he was there. He says he's on the waiting list. Hopefully, he'll get in soon. I did see Jeremy Donson from Collector Investor Auctions. He was extremely friendly. Called me out by name, which I liked. And then who else did I see? Stan's Vintage was there. Scott Russell from Collector Connection. Brian Deck, as I talked about. I guess that's about. I mean, I talked to other guys too. Theo wants me to start saying some negative stuff because apparently drama is good in the hobby. So any negative stuff, I don't have any negatives. So
I didn't meet Ray. Ray didn't come, so I didn't have a chance to meet him. I was bummed out.
Yeah.
Would have told him how much I love all the Hall of Fames.
Thank you.
So that was
I met Ray. I met Ray at the Philly
last
show.
Philly show in March.
Was it March? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ray's son too. I believe your son was there, right?
Yeah, we were on our way Friday. Both of us together, and so stuff happens. But
there was a little get together, literally in that point where Ray came up, and then I know Andrew from Nuff Said Cards was there. Rick. Not Rick Oddball, but the other Rick. What's his name? I can't remember his channel name. He had a complete 1940 play ball set in a binder that he was showing. And Mookie was there, and Sammy, and a few other guys. So, and Tony was there. So we could get people that didn't make the get together. Yeah, and make.
Yeah, I had quite a bit of people that said they couldn't make it, and it could have been because we started this a little close to the date. People had plans. So I mean, like I said, we're just started this like a month ago, coming up, putting this together. So now we got 2.5 months before December. We'll have this a little bit more streamlined, I guess. So, but I mean, it's a great show. I mean, I highly recommend to go there. It's Joe Drellick owns the Philly show, and yes, he does do the national now, but he did the Philly show and has been the owner of the Philly show way before he took ownership of the national. He started the Philly show. He took it over in 2008 when it went to Reading. Him and David Hunt from Hunt's Auction. So they're the two owners of the Philly show. So yeah, Joe Drellick. When Bob Schmier had the Philly show, it was a lot of local athletes that would just come to the show, like Philadelphia players. And you can see now Joe has geared this more towards a national type of vibe, where he's getting more national type players coming in, like players from other cities. So it's growing. Yep. Yeah.
Finished the 64 and 65 top set.
His mantle's nice. The 65 mantle he showed us is very nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Somebody showed me. I can't remember. Somebody in the chat say who it was. Somebody at the get together showed me that they had just bought a 67 Colavito that was like dead centered, and they paid a price for it that I thought was incredible, because that is one of the tough high numbers, and it's obviously
I was going to say that's a high number.
It's a bigger name. It was like dead centered, and it was gorgeous. And they told me how much they paid for it, and I was stunned at how good of a price they paid for it.
Jake, which Rocky Colavito? 57?
67.
Oh, 67.
Okay. It's a high number. Yeah, it's one of the short prints.
Okay.
A couple of things about the Philly negatives about the Philly show. The announcement for autographs is too loud. Turn the speakers
I kind of agree with that.
It's pretty loud.
Deafening.
And the guy who does that is a DJ. So
there you go.
Kind of go figure. He's one of my oldest kind of friends in the hobby. I've known Paul his name is Paul Kutch. He's like Joe's right hand. He kind of runs the show. He's a good guy, but it's loud. I told him as much too. So
it was few shows ago, maybe I don't know, maybe last year or year before, they did the autograph thing before they moved into B in that little side room, and they used to have the speakers right there at the front of the entrance into that side room, and it was right in front of Bill Chappell's table. So every time that guy talked loudly into those speakers, it would go right into Bill Chappell's face, and I felt so bad for him. And he was like,
Bill
he is.
I can see that.
He would be
Oh,
like
boy.
this the whole time.
He's gonna be
That
feeling
was
like
a
he
good
just came out
impersonation.
from. He's probably feels like he just came up from a concert. You know, his like ears are probably
Yeah.
ringing.
So,
Yeah.
so he does.
You're at a
The
concert
speakers
now, I was at a
aren't there
car show.
anymore.
It sounds like that was
Yes.
Mike, Mr. October, that had that got that Colavito card. So it was a great buy by him.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. So, we have covered the itinerary. Anybody have any questions in the chat? Chat is at 67 now. We got up into the mid 70s at one point, which is a perfectly respectable number.
Good.
We had a get together. We had a little get together. Bill Marks got a little bit of a cameo in the back there. I saw that there was one person at the CGC table.
That's a shame.
And it looks
I
like
had a
there's
little
having
bit
a
of line
conversation.
for PSA. I took this picture right after we finished lunch, Jake, and I thought it was funny that it was like, 10, 12 people here and then one person over there. But that PSA line did actually end up getting much longer.
Yeah, not
When I came
surprised.
back at like 2 or 3 o'clock to go through that room again, it got much longer. But this was the one guy the whole day that went to CGC. So there you go.
Wow. That's awesome.
Ooh. Okay. Question for Dan. Pick one, me or Ray. Come on, it's Ray. Ray is the best. I'm just saying that, Ray, so you have me back on your channel again when we do the Hall of Fame thing.
Absolutely. So yeah, I heard the same thing. No SGC was there. So
No.
Yeah, no SGC. Somebody did ask me on the was there a corporate presence there? And I said, well, no, except PSA and CGC, but eBay actually is a sponsor of the show, and they have a big booth up near the front.
Yeah.
Which kind of just sits there. I don't know what the purpose of it is.
Yeah,
It's not like the National where all those kind of booths are together. Not booths, they're almost like little stores are all together at the National, and you can go in and see, a car that you'll never own. But it's like here we go. This is why. Oh, whoops. SGC is cleaning their boutique. That's why they weren't there apparently.
SGC. I'm gonna have to follow up with the promoter just to be sure. But SGC is on the vendor list for Shriners. But they've backed out of the last few shows. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but they are on the vendor list for Shriners.
RJ actually points this out correctly. All auction houses were there. I mentioned Scott from Collector Connection, but REA is there, Heritage is there. But they have just regular booths like like they were dealers. They have all the cards out, but they're not for sale. And Jeremy Dotson was there, Collector Investor. So there are the when you have Heritage at the National, Heritage has their own little glass encased store with all the stuff around. It's very different from that. But anyway, so we have any other questions from anybody? We're a little over an hour. I think we've covered everything we were supposed to cover, and wanted to thank you guys. Ray, of course, I'm sorry I didn't see you this weekend. I hope to see you in December.
Yep, absolutely.
And I do appreciate the work that you and Neil put in to get this thing going with the get together, and I will do everything I can to help you guys out moving forward.
Thank you. Awesome. Yep.
Neil, thank you not only for working with Ray on the get together, but also coming in here and pinch hitting at the last moment to come in on the live
my
stream.
pleasure.
I really appreciate that. Yeah. And Jake, I know you did a lot of driving, or did Abby do the driving?
We split it up, so that was a good thing.
There you go.
I did.
See, I did all my driving, so I did just as much driving as you did, man.
Yeah.
Was there any lady luck in Atlantic City for you, Dan?
Let me tell you, I didn't lose money. I did not lose money. I actually won money on my football bets, but I would have won very big with one bet. If you can guess one team that constantly lets me down.
Jets.
You know what I'm talking about?
The Jets?
New York Jets.
Jets.
Well, I mean, come on.
New York Jets
what do you expect?
lost. I picked that they were a 6-point underdog or 6.5-point underdog. I picked them on the money line to win, and they were a last-second field goal away from winning. If they had won, I would have done really well. in Atlantic City. As it was, I didn't lose money, but because I had other games that I did win on, but the Jets were my big one, and the Jets, as they always do, let me down.
That
Oh, well.
stinks.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Get him next time.
Yeah.
We will see you guys in December. And it was fun. It was a good show for me, not card wise. As you can see, I did get that great Giants thing, but not much else other than that. But it was a better show people wise. Mike Good, again, thank you so much. That really touched me. That Sports Illustrated. He gave me a couple other things too, but that Sports Illustrated really got me, got me right here. And
awesome.
Jake, it was always wonderful to hang out with you, and I'll see you up in Boston in the beginning of November.
Can't wait.
And Neil, it was great to meet you, and thank
you
you
too,
so
Dan.
much again. And Ray, we'll see you online in the near future. But
Absolutely.
chat, thank you for everything you participated in tonight. It was a good chat tonight. It was a great show in Philly, and if you ever get the chance, if you've never been, look at what Jake did. Where is Jake? What Jake did here. This is what you can do in Philly. You can kill it because it's all there to buy. It's all there to find, and it's a tremendous show. So take care, guys. Take care, chat. We'll see you soon.
Love my hobby. Keep collecting baseball cards.
But hey, we want to keep the lights on here at Four Collectors Studios, so hit the like button for us, guys.
So thanks everybody for coming, and we'll see you next time on Four Collectors.
All right, guys, have a great rest of your night. Subscribe to the Four Collectors channel if you haven't done so yet, and see you soon.
All right, guys. Clemente Collector has said we hit a grand slam, so that makes me feel good.